Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we talk about problems people face in their day-to-day life. Let's start with the video.
My 16F mom remarried a few months ago, and things are not going well with the new stepfather and stepsister 15F. Although my stepbrother 12M is cool. I'm pretty self-sufficient now that I can drive, so I get myself up, go to school, go to my part-time job, and get my homework and chores done without anyone really needing to check in. My mom says that it's good practice for when I'm grown up, and she knows I'm responsible, so as long as I stay trustworthy and within some basic rules, I can manage myself more now and ask her for help when I need something. My stepdad doesn't approve of this and tried to set a bunch of rules for me when he moved in, and Mom shot him down. But he nitpicks every little thing now to try and get her to change her mind. My stepsister is mad that I don't have to follow the same rules she does, but she is also really immature, so she would definitely abuse the privileges I have if she was allowed. She takes it out on me with her attitude and by trying to make me do stuff for her, like drive her places and do her chores since I'm more grown up. Her dad takes her side, but my mom says I can tell them no, and I usually do, because I don't do favors for people with attitudes. This all kind of turned into a big deal this weekend. I work part-time for a bakery and I really like to cook and bake. So one of the cool things about my mom going out on dates was I could cook myself whatever I wanted that night and have the kitchen all to myself to experiment with new recipes. I don't get to do that as much now. The parents went out to dinner Saturday. Stepdad had gotten chicken tenders and fries for the step-siblings to warm up for dinner. So that was their plan. I wanted some kitchen time, so I grabbed ingredients on the way home from work and made pizza and cinnamon rolls from scratch. My stepbrother had never seen it done, so I taught him how to make the dough and let him make his own small pizza. It was fun. But then stepsister came in and asked when dinner would be ready, and I told her whenever she warmed hers up. She said she wanted pizza, and I told her to make one then, because her brother and I just spent an hour making our own. She got mad and wanted me to make it, and I told her she could have a cinnamon roll because I was going to share those anyway. But she already had dinner and could either do the work herself or eat what she had. I'm not her mom or chef. Her brother wouldn't share his, so she ended up having the chicken and being pissy about it. Her dad threw a fit about it, and he and my mom are arguing now. He says I should have included her, and I left her out on purpose. My mom says my ingredients and my work, so it's my choice, and stepsister already had dinner waiting, so it's not like she went hungry. Stepbrother got pizza because he put it together himself. I just baked it for safety. Now things are super tense, and I can tell my mom is stressed. First, I would like to say, way to go, Mom. I'm glad she has your back, and the way you are indicates what a great job she did. Secondly, good on you for being so mature in how you handled things. I think you did everything right. Now your stepdad is making his daughter's life a living hell. I can see why she would be angry at you when her dad refuses to allow her to grow up and take responsibility for her own actions. I hope your mom continues to support you. Not the a-hole in any way, but your stepdad is a big one. Not the a-hole. You are not the cause of your mother's fight. Your stepdad is overstepping her boundaries and he is not respecting her wishes. Your stepsister wants the benefits without doing the work, and your stepdad is okay with that, which is why she is the way she is. Your mother has taught you the rewards of being responsible, and be grateful for that because that is a valuable skill. Just keep doing what you're doing. Not the a-hole, just curious though, do mom and stepdad know that you offered to let her make her own and that you would have cooked it for her for safety reasons? All this does is reinforce you to do your own thing, which it seems you're already pretty much doing. It also seems crappy that stepdad got your step-siblings dinner and just assumed you would pick up something for yourself. You are a minor, job or not. They are supposed to provide. You should have had an easy meal available too. What if you had been dead tired and came straight home? If you did get something, The worst case is that meal doesn't get eaten by you and someone else gets it later. Next story. Hello! Throwaway since I'd like to keep this fight hidden from some friends who know my Reddit account. I am a single dad with 2 kids, Anna 16F and Jason 19M. I've been riding dirt bikes since I was a kid and wanted my kids to ride, so I offered to teach them both when they were young. Both were very happy about it and said yes. Anna was much easier to teach than Jason. It just clicked for her. I never needed to work with her. She'd just get on the bike and go. Jason, on the other hand, had a very hard time learning to ride. He crashed pretty much every time he got on the bike. Now, years later, they're both riding the same bike, a CRF 150. Both older bikes, but reliable. Anna has always enjoyed it more than Jason. I always invited him to go with us, and he'd just shrug and either blow me off completely or come and just stay in the truck and ride for maybe 20 minutes. I understood and never tried to push him into riding. This summer, I felt Anna was ready for a bigger bike. The next step was a CRF 250, which are quite pricey bikes. I wanted to get Jason one, but I feel he isn't ready for it and isn't interested enough for me to spend $10,000 for a bike he'll barely ride. So while Jason was at his friend's, I took Anna to the dealer and got her a brand new CRF 250. Jason came home, saw her bike, and immediately got mad, asking why I didn't get him one. I explained that it was because they are very expensive bikes and he hardly ever rides his, so I didn't want to spend another $10,000. He was still angry, and when Anna came outside, he demanded she let him ride it. Anna looked at me to ask if it was okay, and I told her it was her bike and it was up to her. I didn't like how Jason was talking to her, and neither did she, so she said no. He got angry and started shouting at us both before storming off into his room. However, later that week, while I was at work and Anna was with a friend, Jason took her bike and crashed it. Hard. I don't know what he did, but he twisted her handlebars, scuffed up her plastics, broke her clutch, and effed up her suspensions pretty bad. Luckily, he was okay, but I was furious and Anna was heartbroken. She hadn't even gotten to take it out yet. I yelled at him and told him off, and then took his car. He argued back that it was his car and I couldn't take it. It's not his car. Technically, it's my old car that I've just been letting him use. He yelled and screamed at me, and I told him I was half tempted to make him pay to fix his sister's bike, but I don't want to take all of his savings. He's been yelling at me that I'm an a-hole for 3 days now, and saying it's my fault he can't get to work, get to school, or see his friends. His insults are beginning to get to me. Was I really in the wrong here? Edit/update. Oh wow, thank you all for the comments and messages. I wasn't expecting it to get much attention, so apologies for all the light responses. I see now why Jason may have been upset that his sister got a $10,000 gift, but was out of line for destroying it. And I saw this asked a lot, so yes, I do have an activity I can do with my son. We do watercolor and painting together, and I've bought him lots and lots of supplies for it. I've done some reconsidering and decided he doesn't get the car till he's paid off at least 60% of the cost to get the bike fixed. I have ensured that he has the means to get to work and can pay for it. Anna isn't talking to her brother at all, which I can't blame her for. I wouldn't want to talk to my brother either if I was in her situation. Not the a-hole, but I do suspect there's something deeper going on here with your son you may need to discuss with him. Maybe he's jealous you and your daughter have this special bond he doesn't have because he isn't as good with the bikes. Or maybe it's just him not feeling good enough for bikes, and by buying his sister one and not him, you fed that insecurity. Edit. What I mean to say is that this feels like it isn't just a story about how best to let my son know there are consequences, but more like a how do I make sure this doesn't become an issue in the long run. Not the a-hole, but instead of taking the car from him, he should be the one to pay for the repairs. That will be a better lesson on responsibility and not taking others' property without permission. Find out how much the repairs are going to cost and come up with a payment plan with him so he can pay you back for them. Everyone sucks here. First, the obvious. He stole his sister's bike, crashed it, possibly intentionally, and isn't apologetic or playing the victim. 19 is young, but it's not a child, and he should have known better. He can deal with the consequences. But man, as a parent, how do you justify getting one kid a $10,000 toy and literally bringing home nothing for the other one? That just reeks of favoritism and pushes this from a not the asshole to everyone sucks here, with the exception of Anna. Next story. My 32F daughter, Chloe, 4F, has a fascination with princesses. She loves the color pink, wears only dresses, and has an array of tiaras she wears everywhere except at preschool where she can't, but she does have it in her backpack. My cousin, 33M Alex, fake names, invited us to his wedding, which was this past Saturday. Chloe was excited because she got to dress up and stay dressed up the entire time. She also couldn't wait to see the bride's dress. She asked if she could wear her princess tiara, and I said of course. We got to the wedding on time. However, the start time was delayed for unknown reasons. 15 minutes after it was supposed to start, one of the bridesmaids came out and told me that the bride, Jen 31F, was refusing to come out because my daughter was wearing a tiara. I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. Apparently, the bride was also wearing a tiara and wanted to be the only one wearing it. I told the bridesmaid that Chloe loves tiaras and always wears them. The bridesmaid said not today she isn't, and told me it needed to be removed. I said no. The bride is a grown woman and was being petty over a child's tiara. The bridesmaid left for a couple of minutes, and then Alex himself came out. He told me to leave. I asked why, and he said because I won't tell Chloe to take off her tiara. I said this was ridiculous, and Alex said it's not my wedding, and when I get married, then Chloe can wear one to mine, but that I'm officially uninvited regardless. Others around me told me to just take it off, and I wouldn't. Alex's mom came over and escorted us out. Chloe was upset and crying because she feels she did something wrong, and I'm upset because I can't believe someone would be jealous over a literal 4-year-old. I also feel bad because Chloe was really looking forward to seeing Jen's dress because she loves wedding dresses. But literally no one is on my side. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Someone asked if my cousin has a mental illness. I said no, but the bride has Asperger's, and they said that's important for you all to know. You seriously need to parent up and teach your kid that there's a time and place for indulging your inner princess and a time and place for sitting back, following dress codes, and letting other people shine. For example, at their own goddamn weddings. You were asked nicely, but were petulant and entitled. You caused this. It's not over, child. It's over your lack of parenting. There's a reason why nobody's on your side. You're the a-hole. Sorry, but you're the a-hole. Yes, it was absolutely over-the-top idiotic for the bride to obsess over a 4-year-old wearing a tiara. But once she told you to take it off, you should have removed it. She's the bride. It's her party. She makes the rules. Yes, your daughter would have been disappointed to take it off, but I guess she was even more disappointed to miss the whole event. You're the a-hole. You made a comment that the bride has Asperger's. She may not have been able to move on because of her stress of the day or her expectations of the crown. Just because it was ridiculous to you doesn't mean it was to her. You could have explained to your daughter, who I'm going to guess is neurotypical, that mommy made a mistake and we can't wear the tiara for a little bit but can later. Here's the next story. As the title says, my niece is 9. She has a problem with stealing. She steals from everyone, everywhere she goes. She is spoiled and gets everything she wants and never faces the consequences for these thefts. A few months ago, she stole a bracelet from my stepdaughter, just a few months older than her. This bracelet is very special to my stepdaughter. It was the final gift she received from her late grandmother. When caught and confronted, she tried to claim that it belonged to her, but that she didn't like it, so she would give it to my stepdaughter. Every time she is at my home, I have to search her bag before she leaves. She will take toys, clothes, jewelry, anything. She robbed my kids' piggy banks. I have told my brother-in-law that I do not want her in my home because of her behavior. He brings her over with no warning and she steals. He tried to bring her over today. I finally turned her away. I said, I'm sorry, but until my niece can follow the rules of my home and respect others' belongings, she's not welcome in my home, and I closed the door. My brother-in-law is livid. He said it was cruel to say that, especially in front of her. My husband said that he wishes I hadn't felt like I needed to say it, but that he understands why I did. He is currently dealing with the fallout. Several relatives have texted him asking our side of the story. He has been telling them exactly what I said and why. Some of them think I crossed the line and was too mean to a child, while others were on my side. So Reddit, what do you, impartial strangers, think? Am I the a-hole? Edit. Wow, this really blew up overnight. I'm trying to read all the comments and there are a lot. My niece has both parents. They are still married and together. I am not aware of any trauma concerning my niece, though it is always possible. She is very spoiled. She gets whatever she wants, and I'm not sure either of her parents has ever told her no. I have suggested that my brother-in-law get her some therapy or counseling, but he says there's nothing wrong with her, that she's only a child and children aren't perfect. Not the a-hole. Someone needs to teach this child right from wrong, and her parents obviously aren't doing it. You didn't say she's a horrible human being and I never want to see her again. You said, this bad behavior is not tolerated in my house and there will be consequences until she learns better. That's parenting. Hopefully it sticks. Not the a-hole. They're not correcting the behavior. It sounds like you're the first person to set boundaries with a little terror. She's in for a reality check when daddy can't get her out of trouble when she's older. She needs to learn consequences now when they're minor and not criminal charges. Your children, stepchildren, deserve to feel that their belongings are safe in their own home. Everyone else's needs come secondary. Not the a-hole. I had a cousin like this too, but my mom wouldn't stand up to the family. Every time she came over, my sister and I would go and hide anything valuable we had, and no one was allowed to leave her alone anywhere. If she went to the bathroom, we had to stand around in the hallway until she came out, so she wouldn't sneak off to one of the bedrooms. If the weather was good, we had to stay outside and play, and no one was allowed to leave her alone anywhere. Eventually, they stopped coming to people's homes because of the way their daughter was treated by the kids, which didn't bother any of us at all. When she was a teenager, she got arrested for stealing from one of her neighbors. The husband came home early from work and caught her in their bedroom, taking as much jewelry and money as she could find. The shock of her family, who couldn't believe she could do anything like that, was epic. You're teaching her that behavior won't be tolerated in your home, and I wish my mother had the guts to say this as well.